It seems Blake Lively is in serious trouble, and Megyn Kelly is on a relentless mission to expose every inconsistency in her story. With new evidence surfacing, it's becoming harder for Blake to maintain her side of the narrative. Megyn Kelly isn't just speculating. She's bringing in her own legal team to lay out hard proof that challenges Blake's claims from the very beginning. But what's even more shocking, the deeper we dig, the more it looks like Blake's motives could be far more calculated and self-serving than anyone imagined. From allegedly using her close ties with Taylor Swift and husband Ryan Reynolds to pressure industry figures like Justin Baldoni, to issuing threats against producers if her over-the-top demands weren't met, this situation is proving to be more than just a legal dispute. It's starting to look like a well-planned strategy that began long before any lawsuits were filed. By now, it's no secret that Blake Lively sued Justin, accusing him of orchestrating a smear campaign against her. In response, Justin countersued, claiming that Blake was the one trying to destroy his reputation. But this situation is far messier than the public realizes. To truly understand how we got here, we need to rewind and take a closer look at where it all began. Because if the latest findings are any indication, Blake may have had a larger scheme in mind from the very start. This feud didn't just explode overnight. In fact, it dates back to a time when Blake's public image was already under fire, and contrary to her claims, Justin Baldoni had nothing to do with it. Instead, it was Blake's own actions and attitude that seemed to alienate her fanbase. During the promotional interviews for It Ends With Us, audiences began picking up on something off-putting about Blake. The internet wasted no time digging up past interviews, and what they found left many fans shocked. What followed next was a desperate attempt by Blake to shift the blame. She accused Justin and his PR team of deliberately planting negative stories about her. In a move seemingly designed to rehabilitate her image, Blake gave an exclusive interview to the New York Times, where she subtly redirected the public's focus away from herself and onto Justin, painting herself as the victim and him as the villain. However, newly revealed evidence is casting serious doubt on the credibility of her claims. In fact, text messages have surfaced showing that the New York Times may have selectively edited conversations to make Justin look worse while omitting key details that could have provided much-needed context. But doesn't this entire situation feel eerily familiar? For those following Hollywood scandals, this story might sound like déjà vu. Back in 2018, Amber Heard attempted a similar move against Johnny Depp, crafting a damaging narrative that painted him as the aggressor while positioning herself as the victim. She even had The Sun publish a now infamous article portraying Johnny as a monster. And guess who recently came out of hiding to support Blake Lively? That's right, Amber Heard. But did Blake make a critical mistake by taking a page out of Amber's playbook? If history tells us anything, it's that deceiving the public doesn't end well. Amber ultimately faced massive backlash when actual evidence disproved many of her claims. And now, Blake is finding herself in an equally precarious situation. One of her biggest miscalculations? Assuming that the public wouldn't see through the inconsistencies in her story. Even though she insists that Justin and his PR team are trying to tarnish her reputation, audiences don't need media spin to form their opinions, because Blake's own behavior is speaking volumes. We've all seen how she interacts in interviews. She has a habit of making everything about herself. Even when she's asked about her husband, she somehow pivots the conversation to promote her hair care line. More concerning is her apparent disregard for the deeper themes of It Ends With Us, a film based on a story about serious real-life issues. Her lack of sensitivity towards the subject matter didn't go unnoticed by fans, many of whom began questioning whether she was the right choice for the role. So, it's not surprising that her audience started to turn on her. Just like Johnny Depp's legal team systematically dismantled Amber Heard's case, Justin Baldoni's lawyer is now preparing to challenge every aspect of Blake's lawsuit. And here's an interesting twist. Megyn Kelly's lawyer is also representing Justin in this battle. But here's where things take an even darker turn. This isn't just about clearing Justin's name. Evidence suggests that from the very beginning, Blake had an ulterior motive, not just to ruin Justin's reputation, but to take control of his movie. Text messages between Justin, Blake, and other production team members paint a shocking picture. Justin, who wasn't just the lead actor but also the film's writer and director, was blindsided when he learned that Blake had gone ahead and made her own unauthorized director's cut of the film, without informing him or the rest of the team. Even more concerning, Blake's husband, Ryan Reynolds, reportedly had a hand in rewriting certain scenes, without any prior discussion with Justin, the film's actual director. And if you thought that was bad, it gets worse. At the film's premiere, Justin and his friends and family weren't given proper seating. Instead, they were allegedly relegated to a basement area, further fueling speculation that Blake wanted the spotlight solely on herself. At this point, the evidence is stacking up against Blake. And with Justin's legal team preparing to reveal even more damning receipts, things are looking increasingly grim for her. Just when Blake Lively thought she had control of the situation, new leaked emails and messages turned the entire case upside down. For months, she maintained that Justin Baldoni had been running a secret smear campaign against her. She accused him of manipulating the press and using Hollywood connections to damage her reputation. However, the latest batch of leaked emails suggests that it was actually Blake who was trying to silence Justin, long before any lawsuit was even filed. These emails reportedly show Blake pressuring producers to cut Justin out of key decision-making meetings and demanding script changes that directly benefited her role while sidelining Justin's creative input. Even more shocking, there are messages where Blake threatens to walk away from the film entirely unless her demands were met. This revelation alone is enough to cast serious doubt on her claims. But it gets even worse. Screenshots of private conversations between Justin and other industry insiders have surfaced, and they completely contradict Blake's version of events. Instead of conspiring against her, these messages show Justin trying to de-escalate conflicts behind the scenes, often advising his team to remain professional despite Blake's increasing hostility. One particular email exchange is especially damning. In it, Justin privately confides in a friend, saying, "I just want this movie to be the best it can be, but every time I try to communicate, it feels like she's playing a different game." It's exhausting. If Justin was truly the mastermind behind some calculated attack on Blake, why would he be venting privately instead of using his influence to spread rumors? The truth is becoming increasingly clear. Blake may have fabricated her claims in an attempt to shift public sympathy in her favor. But when that didn't work, she tried to erase Justin from his own project, a move that ultimately backfired. If you thought Blake was the only one playing dirty, think again, because now Ryan Reynolds' involvement in the scandal is being exposed. At first, Ryan kept his distance, letting Blake handle things on her own. But as the backlash grew, insiders claim that Ryan started making behind-the-scenes moves to protect his wife's image, even if it meant crossing the line legally. Rumors started swirling that Ryan personally reached out to journalists to influence how the media was covering Blake's feud with Justin. And now, those rumors appear to be backed up by actual receipts. Newly surfaced texts suggest that Ryan may have pressured entertainment outlets to run negative stories about Justin, some of which contained false or misleading information. One particularly damning exchange allegedly shows Ryan speaking to a high-profile journalist, implying that if they didn't cover the story in a certain way, they'd lose access to his future projects. If true, this could mean that Ryan actively participated in a smear campaign against Justin, despite Blake being the one publicly claiming to be the victim. But the biggest bombshell? Sources close to the case say that Ryan personally edited parts of the film's script without consulting Justin. And this wasn't just a small tweak. Ryan reportedly rewrote entire key scenes in an effort to make Blake's character the central focus, even at the expense of the original story. So, while Blake was publicly accusing Justin of sabotaging her career, the reality behind the scenes was that she and Ryan were actively trying to rewrite history. Now, with lawyers involved and damning evidence continuing to surface, Hollywood is turning against Blake and Ryan. People who once supported them are now backing away, realizing that the truth is very different from what Blake initially claimed. Just when it seemed like this scandal couldn't get any worse, the final and most damaging revelation has surfaced, and it might be the end of Blake Lively's Hollywood career. Over the past few weeks, public perception has shifted dramatically. While Blake initially positioned herself as the victim of a targeted smear campaign, the leaked evidence tells a completely different story. Hollywood insiders who were once on her side are now distancing themselves. Directors, producers, and even fellow actors have begun unfollowing her on social media, a move that speaks volumes in an industry where reputation is everything. But the biggest betrayal came from someone Blake never expected, her own PR team. According to sources, her team quietly resigned after realizing that the case against Justin Baldoni was built on shaky ground. Reports suggest that Blake's publicists and legal advisors urged her to settle privately before more damaging information came out, but she refused. And now, she's paying the price. Blake Lively's career is officially in jeopardy. Hollywood executives are watching this drama unfold, and the response has been brutal. A major studio deal that Blake had been negotiating has reportedly fallen apart due to the negative press. The studio was worried that associating with her would cause backlash, and in a competitive industry, no one wants to take that risk. Even brands that once proudly partnered with Blake are reconsidering their relationship. Some companies have already started removing promotional materials featuring her, and others are staying silent, a sign that they're waiting to see how bad the damage gets. As for Justin Baldoni, despite everything, he has remained calm and professional, allowing the truth to speak for itself. And because of that, Hollywood is rallying behind him. Now, people are asking, was Blake Lively ever the real victim? Or was this all a desperate attempt to control the narrative and protect her own interests? One thing is certain, Blake's future in Hollywood is more uncertain than ever. And unless she finds a way to recover from this scandal, she might be facing the biggest downfall of her career.